Have you ever had those weeks when you just can't seem to do anything? Like you have your to-do list, you have your laptop open, but instead of working, you just keep switching tabs, you rearrange files, you're scrolling, you're pacing, and literally everything except the thing you need to do. Yup, and that was me the past 2 weeks. Hey friends, I'm David and I'm part of the Overcome team, and here on this channel our goal is to help more and more people with their mental health. Today I want to share something personal, which is about procrastination and burnout, and how sometimes you can learn that there's a deeper reason why we procrastinate. But real quick, before we go into the video, if you think you're someone who needs help with your mental health, you're feeling stuck, you're feeling overwhelmed with life, and you feel like you just need someone to talk to, our team at Overcome is offering free mental health coaching for anyone who needs it. We have a pool of coaches that we train about mental health, and they have tools that can help you manage many things like anxiety, procrastination, lack of clarity, and many, many more. So if you feel like this is something that you can benefit from, go to the link in the description for some free mental health coaching. Anyway, let's go back to the video. So this week, I was really deep in procrastination. For some context, I work from home and my setup is literally in my bedroom, which from an outside point of view, you might think, oh, that's convenient. You have like everything in your bedroom. I had the same thought, but it was until I realized that it was actually gonna drive me insane. I found myself constantly task switching. For some context, my full-time work is actually as a video editor, and I only work part-time for Overcome with helping them create content for mental health, since I believe in the vision of helping more people with mental health. So most of the time, my work just involves editing, but I end up task switching, I end up checking my phone, I end up checking my messages, I end up watching YouTube or lying down on my bed, going on Instagram or Facebook to scroll through some content. And then at the end of the day, I end up procrastinating, barely getting anything done, or being in this panic mode of trying to get all the things I procrastinated on done on time. And honestly, the worst part wasn't the work, it was the voice in my head. It keeps saying, oh, you're unproductive, you're wasting your potential, or you're not worthy of the jobs that you have now. I keep thinking to myself that I don't deserve good things if I can't get simple tasks done. And I just end up spiraling with all of these negative self-talk. And it's brutal. And the more I had that negative self-talk, the more I avoided work, and the cycle sort of just continues until it becomes super bad. And this week, it just became a loop that I felt like I couldn't escape. Until eventually, something simple was actually the solution, and it was when I decided to leave my house to work outside. I found a co-working space near me and paid for a day pass, and it was honestly one of the best things I've ever done. I just sat down, I worked. There's no bed near me, there's no distraction, and I was able to focus for a long period of time. I know it's not a magical productivity hack, but it was able to snap me out of that cycle that I was going through throughout the week. And in that moment of being able to work outside, I was also able to take a pause and reflect. I asked myself why I was procrastinating in the first place, and also why I was feeling so bad about myself, and my negative self-talk became worse and worse. So I think asking myself those questions really helped. It's a form of self-coaching since I'm also trained as a coach. So my goal for that session was really understanding, where is this coming from? Why am I having these thoughts? Why am I having these behaviors of procrastination? And through the process of asking myself these questions, I realized that it's because of the work that I do. So like I said earlier, I'm a video editor. So I have multiple clients that I help with their videos. I help them grow their YouTube channels. The job I do here at Overcome, I love it. I love creating mental health content and helping more and more people with their mental health. But the other clients I have, they're not really purpose-driven. They're not really aligned to my values, to what I believe in. And I learned that this was the reason why I was super demotivated and why I was really procrastinating. And it just hit me. I wasn't procrastinating because I was lazy. I was procrastinating because I was avoiding something I didn't like doing. And that insight from my self-coaching really helped. That really opened a lot of doors for me, a lot of learnings and realization. What if, in this case, for me, procrastination wasn't really the problem, but it was the symptom. Sometimes we procrastinate because we're tired, we're overwhelmed, or we're distracted. But sometimes, similar to my case, it's because there's a deeper reason why you procrastinate. Deeper reason could be being burnt out, or we might have outgrown something that we're doing, similar to what happened to me. or maybe something just doesn't feel aligned to you anymore. So honestly, I think this is why therapy or coaching is really helpful for people, because you're able to have someone ask you questions similar to the questions that I ask myself. And then by simply asking the right questions, you're able to understand the deeper cause or the deeper meaning behind what's happening to you. So I'd consider myself very lucky since I was able to get myself out of the situation by myself. But it's actually really hard when you're on your own. So it took me a long time to get myself out of it. That's why I feel like if I had a coach, that would have been a lot easier for me to realize. I was just lucky, I guess, that I'm also experienced with coaching. So I coached myself through it. And then just to give you an idea of what coaching is, in a coaching session, at the end of it, you sort of create an action step that you'll do just so you can keep yourself accountable. So the action step that I took for myself is to create a plan on how I can now transition out of this thing that I didn't like doing anymore, which is video editing. My condition was for the plan to not be reckless, to not just be immediate, but to actually inquire or ask the people I'm working with if they have any thoughts or insights. And then I make a plan of how I can transition out of video editing and just focus on a new career that I like doing. So it was really a way of making a plan to start being more intentional with how I make this transition and how I try to prevent myself from procrastinating or feeling burnt out again. So that's what's happening now. I made a plan to move out of a career that I don't like anymore and then hopefully move towards something that I actually enjoy. And you know what? That simple step of going through that coaching process really helped me. It helped me build momentum again, because now I'm more intentional or a bit more aware that my procrastination isn't just this negative self-talk loop, but it's really a signal for me that something needs to change. So anyway, if you've also been procrastinating, let me know in the comments if anything in my story resonated with you, because your procrastination might not be a productivity issue. Maybe it's a burnout issue or a values misalignment issue or something else. We'll never know. If you're also stuck with it right now, I hope you can be kind to yourself, since that's something we really need. You can try doing what I did, which really helped. I changed my environment. I worked outside. I worked in a co-working space, and it got me to just build that momentum again of doing my work. And then it also gave me the space to reflect on why I am procrastinating. But if you need more support on this, we at Overcome have free mental health coaching in case you want to explore this further. This isn't just one session with a coach. You can have multiple free sessions. I've had my 7th session already. And we have a large pool of coaches, so I feel like you'll be able to find a good fit for you eventually as well. Anyway, thanks for listening to my story about my own journey with procrastination. I hope you learned something from my experience and also from my reflection. If you found this video helpful, please feel free to like and subscribe. That will really help this channel reach more people who need help with their mental health. And if you're procrastinating, let me know in the comments, what do you think is the real reason why I procrastinate? Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.